Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Batwoman Season 2. So we're within arm's reach of the Arrowverse coming back with only a few days left, with the end of this break, or this long break, coming with the return of Batwoman with its second season, even though it will seem like a new show in a few areas. Not overall, I think it will still feel sort of similar, but it'll be, different in certain areas, with the obvious change being the change or shift in lead character, that of course being from the exit of Ruby Rose's Kane to the introduction of Javicia Leslie's Ryan Walder. And of course I'm not sold on that name. I don't think many people are, but they're going with that, I guess. Maybe there'll be like a twist where her real name's whatever, but that's what we're going with at the beginning, at least by the looks of it. So due to the show about to start again, as you would expect, there has been a lot of press and interviews and all that released over the past week, so it is time to go over some of that, as it gives us a good insight as to what is coming, through most of it. But to start off, there was actually a long synopsis released for episode 1, like quite long for a first episode, which potentially sets up some stuff for later in the season as well, or potentially later seasons, who knows. As friends and family hold on to hope that Kate may still be found, a homeless 25-year-old named Ryan Walder stumbles upon Kate's batsuit. Focused on no longer being a victim, Ryan takes his suit to use as armor and goes rogue in the streets of Gotham, taking out various members of a new gang called the False Face Society. Meanwhile, both Jacob Kane and Luke Fox launch searches for Kate. Mary Hamilton grapples with losing yet another family member. Sophie Moore struggles with things left unsaid to her first love. And Alice is furious that someone got to Kate before she could exact her revenge. At the same time, Bruce Wayne, played by guest star Warren Christie, returns under the pretense of searching for Kate, but the truth is he wants his suit back, and it becomes the clash of imposters as Batwoman and Bruce square off in the action-packed season premiere. So first off, that's a lot for just one episode. Seems like we're going to go bang, 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 bang throughout the entire episode. But they do name drop the False Face Society, which no one had thought was, that was going on in the trailers we'd seen. Now, the False Face Society in the comics was first made by the Joker himself. However, more famously, or more well known in the comics, it's actually run by Roman Sionis, aka Black Mask, who of course was the villain in Birds of Prey, the movie. Now, I guess the big question is, will that be the same in the show, or will another person be running the False Face Society? We know that Scarecrow's apparently, at least from character descriptions, meant to have something to do with Ryan Walder's past, shall we say, without spoiling anything for people that don't know. So maybe Scarecrow's in charge of it. We'll have to wait and see. They might give us a hint as to what's going on. I don't think it's going to be Alice. I think she's already got the Wonderland crew going on, so we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, the Batman vs. Batwoman square off of sorts, or, it sounds interesting, but by the sounds of it, Bruce Wayne, aka Tommy Elliott, aka Hush, isn't gone after this episode, based off what the cast has alluded to and when they've referenced the actor Warren Christie. It sounds like he's there for later episodes of the season after episode 1 as well. So it will be interesting to see how he's used if he is there past episode 1, because originally they probably had plans to use him for much longer than just one episode, because the season got short last season. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Now, next up, we actually have some information on one of the villains, or potentially the villain for Season 2 of Batwoman. It's unclear who's the big bad, but anyway, this is coming from EW, or Entertainment Weekly, along with some first look photos, which you can see on screen right now. So this villain is that of Sophia. I think it should be pronounced Sophia, but I think on the show they pronounce it Sophia, so I guess we'll go Sophia, because I'm pretty sure that's what they've said on the show. Now, she'd been name dropped a few times in Season 1 for various reasons, like she she was trying to get the weapon, or supplied the weapon to kill whoever the bat was, to pierce the bat suit, and of course Alice was a bit afraid of her. Now, she'll be played by Shivani Guy. Now, with Sophia's introduction in Season 2, we'll finally learn why there's bad blood between Alice and Sophia, and what role Sophia played in the Alice and Beth, the same person, the dual identities, becoming a supervillain. She's not what we expected from Season 1, Guy tells EW. She does come across as someone who is quite charming and kind. She has a definite soft spot for Alice. You will learn as we go on that there's definitely a much deeper relationship there. So that's all that's really said in regards to her villain. It will be interesting to see how it goes, or at least that's what's said by her. But as we already know, season 2 begins with Kate's mysterious disappearance, which is what leads to Javicia Leslie's Ryan Wilder becoming Gotham City's new Batwoman. Kate's absence, however, also colours how Alice handles Sapphire, because plotting Kate's demise was Alice's whole purpose towards the end of season 1, and without that, she starts reeling and turns her attention towards her formidable foe across the sea. So Kate's disappearance is kicking off a lot of different things. Ryan Wilder becoming Batwoman, probably some stuff going on with Luke himself and maybe even Mary, maybe some stuff within the Crows with Jacob Kane, and also with Alice because she's able to shift her attention elsewhere. So what trouble could that bring about? Who knows? In season 2, Alice starts the season with nothing left to lose, so her perspective of Sapphire shifts a little bit, says Batwoman showrunner Caroline Dreers. She's less afraid because she's got Sapphire in her sights, and what does she have to lose? Her whole plan for killing her sister went down the drain. Caroline Dreers is particularly excited for audiences to see Sapphire and Alice's first scene together. Their dynamic is amazing because Alice is normally the strongest, most manipulative person in the room, and when she's with Sapphire, she's a little differential to Sapphire. It's a new dynamic, and it's very intriguing to watch. I feel weird saying Sapphire. I'm pretty sure it's Sophia, but I'm 99% sure the show said Sapphire. Anyway, but my overall thoughts on this, as I said before, it's going to be interesting just to see how people's focuses get shifted and stuff, and they're focusing on different things because Kate's not there. So Alice focusing on Sophia/Sapphire, and just the build up with Ryan Wilder, or the new Batwoman and stuff like that. It's going to be interesting to see how it's done. First off, as I've said leading up to this season, I think it's going to be a bit messy. Hopefully it's just not too messy to the point where people are like, okay, I can't even deal with this. So hopefully it's just they can get a decent middle ground, maybe leaning towards it being, more good than messy, if that makes sense. But speaking of Ryan Wilder, Javicia Leslie, who of course is playing the characters, or the characters, if you include Ryan Wilder and Batwoman as separate characters. But anyway, there was an interview with her. I'm only going to include a few questions because a lot of them dive into little things that aren't even really worth bringing up or discussing. I will leave the full interview linked in the description down below if you do want to go check it out. But here are the pick of the bunch, if you want to call it. How did you want to differentiate this Batwoman from Ruby Rose's take on the hero? The writers and the showrunner already did a great job at that, so I didn't have to intentionally try to be different. The writing allowed this character to stand out on its own, and of course, we're two different individuals, so my natural energy coming into it is already going to be different. I think my only job is to show up and have fun and play in the storyline that's already been created. Ryan doesn't come from the privileged background that Kane did. What does that mean for the character and the stories the show is telling in season 2? It's pulling back the layers of Ryan, and it shows with the fact that she's a foster kid. And if you know anything about the foster system, and I do because my aunt had foster children, it's very easy for kids to get lost in that system and not have anyone to fight for them. And so she represents that. She finds someone that wants to adopt her, but she still had a childhood with different foster homes and what that comes with, the abuse, the neglect, the feeling that someone was supposed to be there to protect you and then not. She became other people's protectors because of that, so when she puts on the suit, it does go naturally with who she is as a person. So just quickly before we get to the rest of her quote, I am intrigued to see if Scarecrow maybe kills her mother, and that's why she's a foster child. Unless her foster parent, the person that adopts her, is the one that gets murdered, maybe by Scarecrow or whatever's going on there. Will be interesting. We'll have to wait and see. Ryan's the type of person who has this standard of what's right and what's wrong, and she lives by that, and there's not a lot of budge room in that. When we think about what's going on in society right now in real life, and you look at the police, they're all supposed to represent what's right and what's good no matter what, but nowadays we're finding that's not always the case. That is an issue for Ryan. That should be the standard. You should be able to look at who's policing our community and saying, if no one else is right, at least they're right. When I look at Ryan, that's what she battles. There is no grey area for her. Now, I think that's going to be a big thing that they sort of deal with at the beginning, because I think one of the things is that she's just going around maybe potentially killing people and has to learn. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. And this is a big one. This is a lot of people made articles from this question here, and that's last year when Ruby said she was leaving the show, she did cite how challenging the work was physically and emotionally. Did you talk to her before stepping on set to get a sense of how to prepare? And she said, no, I didn't talk with her, which I'm not shocked at that, but I'm surprised, in regards to they talked about, give me some ideas in regards to when I step on the set of Batwoman, what should I expect? I'm not surprised they didn't talk about that, but I'm surprised they haven't even conversed at all. It doesn't even seem that they've really conversed on social media by the sounds of this. either. So that's a bit of a surprise, but I must add, from what people have said, I haven't really looked myself because, let's be honest, I don't really care that much. But people have said that the Ruby Rose at least unfollowed all the Batwoman cast members, so maybe that says more than that anyone could said. The actions speak louder than the words, if that makes sense. So maybe that just shows maybe some issues with Batwoman season 1. So maybe that's a good sign for Batwoman season 2. Who knows? But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Of course, I will have my Batwoman reviews out on the day of the episode, so keep your eyes out for that in the next few days' time, whenever it starts for you. And yeah, as I said, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like on it. Would be awesome. Let me know in the comments section down below your various opinions on what we went over in this video. If you're looking forward to Batwoman, any theories you have, let me know in the comments section down below. And of course, if you're new to the channel, why not subscribe? It's free, takes 2 seconds, and it's just really cool to do. You'll be the coolest person in the room if you do that. So do that if you want to, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.